Good morning. My allergies hit me really hard this week. It is September. All of the ragweed, all of the weeds are going to seed and they're drying. And they have attacked me. So I beg your indulgence for my scratchy voice, maybe a little cough along the way. And I have water and a great message. So I love the wisdom of Wayne Dyer. And in this 9th of his top 10 principles for manifesting with your mind, he reminds us to treasure our divinity, our connection to God. He said that there is no place where source, God, the divine, is not. And he said that one way to connect with this source is to look for that gleam of light that flashes across your mind from within. It's that little epiphany, that little aha moment. This is divine inspiration. And when we follow this guidance that comes from deep within, it is a work of genius because there God is. He stressed that the more we depend on this inspiration from within, the more we are connected to God. He challenged us to dig deep within and not to have to rely on teachings from outside ourselves, outside sources, someone that we think is smarter, more education, a better track to God. He said the reality is that when we go deep within, there God is, waiting for us. One of Dr. Dyer's children said that from an early age, they were taught that they were all pieces of one creator, that all of us come from this creator and one day will return in God's time. He said that they were raised with the idea that they learned about divinity from every perspective. He said they had books in the house from Buddhism and Taoism and Christianity and all sorts of things. And he wanted them to ultimately realize that they were divine themselves. We are all one. We are all connected. And even if we don't recognize it, this connection to God, to each other, can never be severed. If you take a cup and fill it with ocean water, what you have in that cup is the ocean. Granted, yes, it's a very small part of the ocean, but it is still the ocean. And each one of us is like that little cup of ocean, little cups of God. Small though we may be, we are still cups of God. We are a piece of the whole that we call God, and that is what we are made of. The more we treasure something, the more connected we are to it. Thus, treasuring our connection to God brings us ever closer. When we feel disconnected from Source, when we forget about that divine connection, we start losing that fundamental divine power. But as long as we see ourselves as a piece of God, we have access to the power of God, which is unlimited and miraculous. Life is a beautiful tapestry, a tapestry where every thread, every aspect is interconnected one to another. Nothing exists separately. Not you, not me. Nothing exists separately. The thought of a separated self, in truth, is an illusion. Within this illusion of separation from God and from each other, we can go astray. The interconnectedness of the whole binds us and is the very foundation of strength, harmony in the world. Oneness lies at the heart of the universe, a seamless web of energy that connects all matter, all consciousness. Yes, separation is an illusion that we all fall victim to once in a while. And it hides our true nature, which is an integral part of the greater whole. What is in the one is in the whole. What is in the whole is in the one. We are all one. This divine or universal consciousness permeates every living thing. And I would say even things that aren't living, rocks, mountains. This is the unifying thread that links us to the cosmos, to each other, and to the source of all creation. Recognizing this divine self within is a giant step towards dissolving the illusion of separation as we embrace the whole. I love that modern physics are catching up with the divine wisdom, the ancient divine wisdom. I have to laugh when I hear about these new scientific finds, like quantum mechanics. It offers a scientific framework that supports the spiritual concept of oneness. Yeah. The theory of quantum entanglement, whereas it should suggest that particles can become linked in such a way that the state of one particle instantaneously influences the state of another, regardless of the distance separating them. These serve as a compelling metaphor for the interconnectedness of all things and exemplifies how the very fabric of the universe is woven together, deeply interconnected, inseparable. If the movement of one particle can and does affect another particle, how much more impact do our thoughts and actions have on others? Not just those near us, but the entire world. Within Judaism, there is a teaching that says, when you save one person, you save the world. Then we have string theory, discovered accidentally, right, in 1969. It reimagines what reality is made of. It posits that everything is made of unbelievably tiny strings whose vibrations produce the effects that we can interpret. I don't understand it, but I don't have to understand it. At least I don't have to understand it with my mind, but I understand it with my heart that is connected to God. I don't think I'm meant to understand it. I have to take it on faith. Aha, now there's a big word. I have other talents and gifts, but even in the Bible, we are told that we cannot understand the mind and the nature of God. It is just too large. And this amazing interconnectedness goes way beyond my human brain. I have to accept it on faith. Greg Braden, in his concept of the divine matrix, says that everything in our world is connected to everything else, and the universe operates as a vast interconnected network, like a cosmic internet through which all of life communicates. I love that. I love that. Universal internet where everything communicates with one another. Nassim Haramein, a physicist who bridges science and spirituality, suggests that the entire cosmos is a holographically interlinked network where each part reflects the whole. And Neil Donald Walsh, in his book Conversations with God, emphasizes the importance of recognizing our oneness with the divine and with each other. And he encourages us to shift from separation consciousness to unity consciousness. Unity consciousness. This is the very essence of strength and resilience in the world of which we are an integral part. For when we are connected with everything else, therein is strength and resilience. With the recognition of this interconnectedness, we acknowledge that our differences do not or should not divide us. Instead, they can be a source of our collective strength. And in this collective strength, we learn to live compassionately, inclusively, and harmoniously. Compassionately, inclusively, and harmoniously, no matter what the other person or other people are doing or what they believe. The separated self is an illusion and is one of the greatest challenges to spiritual growth. There's a beautiful connection between ancient wisdom and new revelations, where we are reminded of the truth of our existence, that we are intrinsically connected one to another with the divine. In this recognition of oneness, we strive to end the illusion of separation and honor the sacredness of all, absolutely all. Here are a couple of ways to honor your divinity. I'm sure you can add to it ad infinitum, but I'm just going to list three here that I wanted to bring. First of all, embrace yourself, for you have value. Accept all parts of yourself. You are a divine child of the Most High loving God. Align your values and desires to deep spiritual awareness. Embrace all parts of yourself, and all means all. The ones we like, the ones we don't like, the ones we don't admit to. Embrace it all, for this is how God made you, and there are reasons for it. I don't understand it. It's just the way God created us and put us here to learn, to grow, but mostly to love. To love God, to love one another, and to love and honor self. We cannot take self out of the equation. Trust your intuition. Invite the universe to guide you as you learn to trust your intuition. When you receive guidance, strive to follow it. And then our only response is thank you. I can think of better things to say. And practice gratitude. Keep gratitude at the forefront of your daily life. Keep a gratitude journal. Make time to notice and honor all the beauty around you. Listen to and watch uplifting things, which then add to your gratitude quotient. Turn your challenges into gratefulness and praise. There's a story of a little 3-year-old girl, and her mother was expecting a baby, and when the mom and dad came home, bringing the baby home from the hospital, she asked her parents if she could talk to the baby alone. And they said, yeah, okay. They went in the other room and they turned on the baby monitor so they could hear what she was saying. And they hear her approach her little baby brother, and she says, tell me about God. I've almost forgotten. This from a 3-year-old. Isn't that absolutely, yeah. Yes, we do forget. We have time periods when we feel spiritual amnesia, forgetting who we are and who God is. So daily strive to remember this connection to the divine, and to remember that God loves us with a love that surpasses all our human understanding. In the New Testament Gospel of Matthew, he says, are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? In other words, sparrows have very little worth. Not one of them will fall on the ground without your Father's will. But so far as you are concerned, even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Therefore, fear not. You are much more important than the sparrows. And there is a beautiful old hymn based on this passage entitled, His Eye is on the Sparrow. Some of you may know it. It was written in 1905 by Sevilla Martin. Sevilla and her husband were traveling and they wound up in Elmira, New York. And they began a deep friendship with another couple, the Doolittles. Mrs. Doolittle had been bedridden for 20 years, and her husband was crippled and had to use a wheelchair to get to and from his work. And yet they maintained a joy of life, a joy, happy lives, bringing inspiration and comfort to all they knew. And one day, Sevilla's husband asked them, how do you maintain this joy with all the challenges that you have? And Mrs. Doolittle's response was simple. His eye is on the sparrow. Turn page. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. The beauty of this simple expression of faith gripped Sevilla Martin's heart and fired her imagination, and the hymn was born. And I would like to read you this hymn, His Eye is on the Sparrow. And if you go on YouTube, you can find some really beautiful renditions of it. Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart be lonely and long for heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, my constant friend is he. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. And the refrain is beautiful. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. The second verse goes, here, resting on his goodness, I lose my doubts and fears. Though by the path he leadeth, when songs give place to sighing, when hope within me dies, I draw closer to him, from care he sets me free. For his eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. We all search for meaning and purpose in life. And yet when we remember that all is one, that we are connected to all, the littlest thing that we bring, a smile, a prayer, a blessing, is a smile or a prayer or a blessing for the whole world. What you share with one, you share with the world. And so when someone shares a smile with you, pass it on to the world. When someone shares a blessing with you, pass it on to the world. For you are a beloved child of the Most High God. And in that loving connection, you are a part of the one that is all things. Namaste and Amen.
Thank you, Rosie. That was a great talk. Good